November 2020. While the world grappled with the coronavirus pandemic and the dust settled following the contentious U.S. presidential election, a disaster of a different kind was barreling towards Central America. Already struggling to cope with the effects of climate change on agriculture, the region would soon see climate consequences of a different kind. On November 3rd, 2020, a Category 4 hurricane devastated Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Hurricane Eta caused at least 200 fatalities across Central America. The countries affected recorded a staggering $7.9 billion in damage. With reduced infrastructure, many countries in this region were slow to recover from the storm. But on November 15th, another hurricane, this time a Category 5, hit the already demolished region. Approximately 5.2 million people were affected by the storm, and several 100,000 people were displaced. It caused $1.4 billion in damage. The combined effects of these storms was unlike anything the region had witnessed in decades. Relief efforts for the two storms were extensive and involved several countries. However, relief efforts were limited because of several factors.
In terms of what happens with that Iota, it catches the world at a bad time. COVID has really wreaked havoc on donor country budgets. The US, the most important donor for the region, is already going through a period of policy tension regarding humanitarian aid to the region. And on top of that, it happens right during the most contested and complicated elections in who knows how long in the US. And so we have started to call this the forgotten emergency because donor countries just did not respond. And so as NGOs, we found ourselves with all the capacity, with all the technical, human, logistical resources, but we didn't have the money. And so the response was a fraction, a tiny, tiny fraction of what the need was.
This double tragedy meant that familiar spaces became unfamiliar and forced migration became essential. People whose homes were destroyed were moved to various shelters after the storm had passed. The impact of Hurricane Eta and Iota were so severe, causing many in the region to forget, at least momentarily, how the pandemic had changed the world. But 7 months after the storms, the region is still not recovered.
It's May 2021 and people are still dealing with the humanitarian fallout of Hurricanes Iota and Eta across the region.
Central America continues to grapple with the effects of both medical and natural disasters.
We need to provide immediate humanitarian assistance to people, but in keeping people alive, we also need to be thinking about what are the types of interventions that we can do that will create community resilience to future shocks.
There is a crisis ahead, one calling us all to attend to global climate conditions, be a part of keeping the planet safe and protected, and to chart a better environmental course for humanity.